Hi, I'm Joey MacNeil, and in this video I'll be defending my project. It looks at a major tension I've seen in my grade 12 digital art room, the gap between how much students participate in critique and the actual depth of the feedback they give each other. We're working in Photoshop to create complex digital collages based on themes. The themes included things such as freedom, identity, deconstruction. As an artist, I know critique is where the real growth happens. It's also where things get vulnerable and a little socially risky. The problem is this: even when participation is high, the feedback is often socially softened. Students are giving vague, overly positive praise instead of analytical, revision-oriented feedback they need to actually improve their art. In my observations, I heard a lot of "it's amazing" or "perfect," no notes. Students told me they didn't want to hurt feelings or create conflict. They were choosing social harmony over artistic rigor, even after we modeled the vocabulary. I initially wondered if this was just a lack of motivation. I used AI to test that theory. It suggested that focusing on engagement, but I rejected that. My evidence showed these students were highly engaged. They just felt socially paralyzed in the moment. Here's the aha moment. When I looked at the written work or talked to them one-on-one, their hidden fluency appeared. They had the vocabulary. They just weren't using it in the public, high-pressure verbal sessions. From an equity lens, my current structure was privileging the socially confident and fast talkers. Students who needed processing time or had social anxiety were being effectively silenced, even though they had the strongest insights. Research by Zhao explains this perfectly. Critique is a social performance that intrinsically involves disagreement. Students use disagreeing softly as a shield to protect their peer relationships. I learned from Universal Design for Learning that a classroom filled with diverse learners is the norm. If we want students to communicate like an artist, we have to provide multiple ways for them to express that knowledge. But I didn't want safe critique to mean easy critique. The goal isn't to remove the discomfort of artistic challenge. It's to remove the structural barriers that stop students from entering the conversation at all. I engaged with a critical tension here. If I scaffold too much, do I dilute the rigor? I concluded that accessibility and challenge are relational. We use scaffolds to reach the rigor, not to bypass it. My first two principles are about offering verbal, written, and asynchronous pathways. This ensures that silence isn't mistaken for a lack of understanding. Principles 3 and 4 focus on normalizing disagreement and using revision anchors. We need to frame friction as a collaborative tool for growth, not a personal attack. Finally, we must shift the authority. Students need to be active participants in the dialogue, not just passive recipients of my evaluation. This leads to my high-level direction, a hybrid, digitally mediated framework using Google Classroom and Padlet. It's designed to provide the processing time students are currently missing. Why digital? It allows students to revisit work, consult vocabulary, revise their thoughts before they hit submit. It changes the social stakes of the performance. Technology isn't the solution, it's the scaffold. My professional judgment remains the core. I'm using these tools to reveal student reasoning, not to replace the studio's art. I'm honest about the trade-offs. We might lose some of the spontaneous magic that happens in a live huddle, and we have to watch out for procedural compliance, where students just fill in blanks without thinking. I've used AI responsibly to test my logic, but I've been disciplined in rejecting suggestions that didn't fit my specific context. I'm keeping cognitive ownership over the interpretation of my students' needs. This project is ready because it is evidence-based and research-informed. We're making critique easier. We're making the rigor accessible to every artist in the room. Thank you.